But first, I'm excited to talk to Rick Staton, former member of the House of Delegates, Majority Leader, longtime Democrat. He served the state well. He was most recently appointed, and he was Deputy Cabinet Secretary for Department of Military Affairs and Public Safety. You did that. He has a long list of public service positions as well. He's been very active in the state Democratic Party for years. He joins us this morning, in a new role as a candidate for the state Democratic Executive Party Chair.
That's correct.
Welcome to the show, Rick.
Thanks for having me.
That was a lot there. I got all that out. You have a lot of great accomplishments, you know. You've been involved in the Democrat Party. You're Majority Leader. When were you Majority Leader? Back in the day there?
I was Majority Leader from 95 through 2006, 96 or so through 2006. Under Speaker Kiss.
Speaker Kiss, and then when I came in there, I think I was under Rick Thompson was my speaker when I started in 2009. So, hey, listen, we'll get right into it.
Okay.
State party elections coming up here for chair of the Democratic Party. Belinda Biafore has been chair for a long time, and up north central West Virginia, and now we're looking to have a new direction. So why now? Why this position for you?
Well, you touched on part of it. I've always been active in Democratic politics. I had the necessary 4-year gap when I was in state government and we couldn't be involved, but I have been a county chair, a member of the state Democratic Committee, and what's motivated me has been several things. Number one, I, like many people across the state, just can't sit back and watch the things that are happening right now without trying to do something about them. The second thing is, I think we Democrats, not necessarily the party structure, we as Democrats are in a crisis mode, and I think that demands a full-time leader to lead the party, somebody whose sole focus is rebuilding the party, bringing back disaffected voters back into the fold. I'm fortunate. I got to retire early. My family's grown and gone. This can be my only job. I intend to travel the state and engage with people and find out what their needs are, what their views are, and get their input and bring it back to try to put it to use.
Well, we've the state shifted. It shifted in voter registration and people's party affiliation and whatnot. We've even seen a lot of Democrats, lifelong Democrats, switch over to the Republican Party. High profile, obviously the governor and our managing partner Doug Reynolds, even more recently. Mick Bates down in Raleigh County didn't work so well for him, but we've seen a lot of people try to make that switch. I mean, why is that? Why do you think they're switching? So many people are switching.
I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's a reflection of a disconnect between the national messaging that is being just bombarded to voters in this area. And I think in part it's our inability to translate that national message into something that's a tabletop issue. I think a good example is the issue of the border crisis. That is certainly an important national issue, but the border crisis we have here in West Virginia is young people leaving the state and taking their talent with them. That's a tabletop local issue, especially with an older population where parents need their kids around them to help care for them. So we need to translate those national issues into things that matter to people here in West Virginia.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I preach that all the time. When our younger people, we do a great job educating them, getting them through school, and then they get through college with the promised scholarship, but then they're gone. And that's our future. That's our hope. And if they're not staying here, where does West Virginia turn to?
Right.
And we're not attracting a lot of people back here. So what does Rick Staton, what do you do specifically to help turn this message around? I mean, what are you going to do? Tell me, this is your chance to say, hey, this is why you're the best fit for the job here, and this is what you're going to do.
The number one point is, this is my sole job. You and I served in the legislature, Delegate Pushkin's in the legislature. It's a misnomer to say it's a part-time job. It's a full-time job. And especially if people like you and Delegate Pushkin do it well. So I don't have that to weigh against me. When you're in session working and you have an issue that needs people from around the state to be involved in, you can call me, and I have already proposed that we have what I call rapid response teams who will locally call people, write letters to editors, and engage people locally in those issues to make sure they're educated about them and aware of them and talk to local people about them. I've had tremendous response to that proposal. People just coming out saying, I'm ready. I'll write the letters. I'll make the calls. And that's a luxury that you and others don't have because you're so busy with session. Legislators need a conduit where you can make one call and say, call out the troops. And so that would be one way.
Well, we've seen a shift just recently in this primary election. It used to be for the longest time Republicans had a hard time even filling up the ballot. But now you're seeing all these contested Republican primaries, and now you're going to see fall elections. And then in the Democrats, we've had a tough time even filling the ballot slots. I mean, having people on the ballot, just getting people out to run. And so I think you hit the nail on the head. Recruitment's always an issue, engaging people's an issue, and I think that it almost feels like the party is there, but it's not there.
Right, right.
So I hope as we turn the corner as a Democrat, because I'm a minority leader of the House of Delegates now, and I say we, but I mean there's a lot that needs to be done to engage people in West Virginia, regardless of just getting people out to vote. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, and to see low voter turnout is always disappointing as an elected official, because you work so hard, I work so hard to get people out, to get your message out. So what does the state Democratic Party need to do to get the new message out, the right message out, to re-engage Democrats?
All politics is local. We have to engage people in the local level. We have to make sure that county committees, elected officials, and party officials have the support and communication that they need. And we have to, as Democrats, be engaged in the community. We can't just go to people every 2 years and ask them for money and votes. Jefferson County, to me, its executive committee is a shining example. They've had book drives, food drives, man a meal. I went to a meal last week. They announced they were taking out the leftovers and taking them to the volunteer fire department. When people see Democrats active in the community, then that message gets across. And they say, these people are interested in us. They're not just interested in our votes.
Well, you said nicely. It's almost like you can't just show up during election time,
right?
And expect people to be engaged. So, Rick, give everybody, before I let you out of here, when is the election? I know you're out campaigning, right? You said you were in Mercer County last night. Where are you going tonight? You going somewhere tonight?
Tonight I have a meeting in Charleston. Tomorrow I have to be in Greenbrier County.
Okay, so you are traveling the state, getting to meet people. When is the actual election? When do we decide who the state Democratic Party next year is?
June 18th in Bridgeport, and I think it'll be very well attended. I think there's a lot of interest in the future of the party and turning the party around, and I'm excited about that interest that people have.
Well, I appreciate you for stepping up and being involved, and best of luck to you in your election. And I know you have your heart into it, and whatever it takes to help turn the Democratic Party around. Yeah,
I'm not going away. I'm going to be involved no matter what. I think other people need to get that message too. It's going to take all of us to row this boat.
Yep.